All right, this is the second video for our house fellowship groups. I'm going to try to move as quick as I can. But like I said, the second page of this sheet I'm giving you just kind of gives you the outline of what 5 weeks of doing these groups will be like. And this side of it will kind of help you see what each week should be shaped around in terms of topics. So for week one, I've given you an outline. Again, this comes from the book from Dr. Phil Meadows. But when you have your first one, this house fellowship experience is going to be just as new for everybody who participates as it is for you. So the first thing you're going to do is have dinner or shared food. So again, it can be refreshments or it can be a meal, depending on how you want to do this. And you're really going to use it as a time to introduce yourself and to share some of your journey with Jesus. So I realize that more than likely you all know each other by name. So the more important thing is to do that opening step of vulnerability, which is to share some of your journey with Jesus. Talk about how you came to know the Lord, why your faith has gotten to the place it has. And again, I think it's important to encourage people. Our stories are all going to be different. Some of us, it'll just be that we have always grown up in the church, and so we've just kind of slowly, taken on this life that Jesus gives. Just kind of by by immersion in it. Other people are going to have much more dramatic stories of how they were far from God, and the Lord quickly brought them out of a season of death and into a whole new life with Him. All those stories are good. I think it's good to hear them and to know why we're people of faith. What also you can talk about is why people are interested in being part of a discipleship group. What made you interested in doing this? Maybe it's something they've been desiring a long time, or maybe they just heard me talk a lot about it on Sunday in the pulpit and thought maybe they should try. Anyway, really what I've given you is a way to do some table conversation at the conclusion of a meal to start to talk about how your life is connected with God. And then the next thing is after that, sharing, and after you've had your dinner or shared food, you're going to spend some time talking about the value of discipleship. Uh, and especially I really think you need to do in this time is to go over these 2 pages that I'm just going over with you now so that everybody can see, oh, this is what we're getting into. This is what the pattern looks like. So from table conversation to praise and prayer to going through core discipline to praying for one another for where we need needs. And that's what we're going to do every week that we get together. And then that way they can have an understanding that this is what they've committed themselves to. It's also a great time to start to invite people to know what they can share with one another. So if you're the host and you provided a meal or refreshments, it might be an opportunity to say, hey, this next week I'm going to provide the drinks, have water, iced tea, or lemonade or pop. Can somebody bring a snack to share, or can 2 people bring that? Or if you're doing a meal, you might say, I'm going to provide the salad. Would somebody be willing to bring an entree and a side dish that we could all share in together? And then that you set that up. Just tell them that, each will all get an opportunity to share in with one another. But also what you're going to do is you're going to go over these 4 core spiritual practices and how each week you have to have something that you bring personally to share. And I'll explain what that means. It means you have to have a reflection to bring to the group. So here are the 4 core spiritual practices. First one is soul sharing. That comes from an old question that the Methodists a long time ago used to ask one another, which is, how is it with your soul? And really what you're doing is you are inviting people to think through the week in terms of where their soul is in relationship to God. And it can be a positive place or it could be a negative place. So on the paper I've shown you, it could be a moment of thanksgiving where God has helped you in some great way this week and you want to give acknowledgement to that. Or a moment of celebration. The question that's asked is, where do you experience breakthrough in your life? Their breakthrough might just be, I never thought I'd be part of a group like this. This is a big challenge in my faith, and just participating and speaking about my personal faith journey, being a disciple is a big step for me. Celebrate that with them, encourage them with it. And it's important in these times when we're doing the core disciplines that there's active listening from the group, that, if you have a question, especially as the facilitator, ask the question, follow up, learn more about one another, help each other to open up your hearts with one another. But it also could be negative experiences. It could be a lament where you regret something of the past week that you feel far from God because of the burdens of life, family issues or health issues that have come up that have made you not feel close to the Lord, maybe not been able to give him the time that you've wanted to. Those are good things to just be open about. The Psalms are full of people who are in the midst of where they don't have as much time as they'd like to be with God. And so we need opportunities to express that ourselves. This would be a great step of courage of somebody, especially as a group is new, but it might also just be a confession. I wasn't the husband or the parent that I wanted to be this week. And here's why. Or, I was not kind to my coworker this week, and I feel a lot of guilt and shame about it. And I just need to confess that. There's a lot of healing in that. Again, I realize that saying something negative about your life, even if it's true, is not easy for everybody. So you might get there, but that might be something for a group that's more mature and has built more trust. Totally understand that. But anyway, that would be your second week together. You do that as part of your core discipline, your spiritual discipline time. Everybody's going to share how is it with their soul. Week 3, you're going to go to your second one, which is called Scripture Words. The old Methodist question is, what's the Spirit been saying to you? But it's the belief that when we read the Scriptures, then not only is it conveying information, but actually the Spirit is speaking through it to us. It's living and active. So what you invite people to do is to say, hey, this week in your daily devotion, or if you haven't been reading the Bible regularly, this is a great time to do it. Where is God stirring something in your heart as you read the Scriptures? So in your Bible reading, what's a verse or a couple verses that really stood out to you, that spoke to you? It doesn't have to be real elaborate, or it could be something really simple. Come next week with your verses to read and what God spoke to you through them. Let everybody go around the group in that spiritual practice time, sharing that verse or verses and their reflection, what the Spirit's been saying to you. The next week is going to be gifts and disciplines. So there are spiritual gifts and there are spiritual disciplines, and you can invite people to take on one of them for the week and seriously try to practice it. So an example of a spiritual gift might be just the gift of encouragement. It's a pretty soft and easy one, but maybe somebody wants to, take on seriously the practice of encouraging people at work or in their family through the week. Or maybe there's a person that they just have a lot of issues with, and they're going to say, rather than getting fights with them, I'm just going to speak about life to them, about how they are a blessing to me. So that would be a way of using a spiritual gift. Or for the week, maybe they want to take on a discipline. Maybe they don't pray as much as they like to, and they say, this week I want to try to pray every morning or twice a day. And or maybe it's fasting. I'm going to take 2 days out of our week in between gatherings, and I want to fast those days or for a couple meals through that week. And then when they come back, they can talk about what that experience was like. What was it like to try to encourage someone? What was it like to pray every day? Was it hard? Was I able to do it? If I was able to do it, what did God teach me through that I don't like it, that it's not easy, that it's more of a blessing than I realized? It's just to hear. It's to allow people to do that. And then week 5 is the everyday mission, core spiritual practice. And this is where we are called to take every opportunity to be for Jesus. We're his ambassadors. And this is going to require the most creative approach out of everybody, because our goal here is not that everybody's wearing a sandwich board that says, go to hell or die, or accept Jesus or go to hell kind of thing. But it's really where we are thinking creatively how we can bear the love of Jesus wherever we're at. So for perhaps some people, it might be just that I'm going to pray for this specific person in my workplace or in my life. Or perhaps another suggestion I gave is give some intentional time to a neighbor. It's going to be, by this time, it's going to be really close to Easter. Maybe get some chocolates or make some cookies and put a little Easter note in there and take it over to their neighbor and just say, I was thinking about you, wanted to bless you, happy Easter. And they'll know you're Christian if you're giving away Easter gifts. Please know that. So that's a great way to do it. Or maybe it's just simply about some relationship building with people who you want to encourage. So maybe it's calling up somebody, a friend, and just saying, I want to have some coffee or get together with you or talk to you on the phone. And maybe in that conversation, you say, part of this is just the reason I called you or contacted you is I just, have been spurred by the small group I'm a part of. It's not an easy thing, and everybody's going to have different comfort levels, but the idea is that we take advantage of the opportunities God gives us. So allow everybody to come back and share on that. The last one is this optional week. So after you've done 5 weeks, if your group wants to get together one more time, they could come together, go through all the steps of the pattern, and then maybe during your core disciplines time, spiritual practices time, just share what this group has meant to them, and if it's something they're interested in continuing further on. That would be a great